Hi, this is Joe from the Maladjusted Misfits. I'm calling to see if maybe you'd like to listen to the one where we talk about Friends this week. I mean, I know it's been 3 years, but...
This is Adam. I'd love to.
Oh, that's funny.
Hello.
Hello. We are on episode 5 this week. I can't believe it.
Oh my goodness.
I know, right?
5.
Season 2, episode 5.
Yeah, before you know it, we'll be on season 5, episode 2.
In a couple years.
I said before you know it.
Okay. It'll come faster than I know. So, on our Facebook and Instagram pages,
Yeah.
sometimes the listeners will interact with me or the page.
Right.
And I met someone on there that went to the Friends experience. She took a bus full of people.
Oh.
Like a party bus.
Right.
And so she was, messaging me back and forth. And we had a call and we talked. And so we're going to try and see if we can work it out where she can submit some audio to join the podcast.
Gonna have a guest?
We're going to have a guest.
Oh my goodness.
We're going to try because, we have
Right.
not great audio equipment. We have some, but we think we might have figured it out. So
Yeah.
Episode 7, not next week, but the week after.
Right. So not 6,
Nope,
but
not
7.
6. 7. 7.
Uh-oh. Easy.
Not that episode. So we're going to hopefully have some listener input on their favorite things about the episodes.
Aw, that'll be fun.
It will be. So if you want to reach out and maybe send your thoughts in, you can send us an email. We have email at themaladjustedmisfits@gmail.com.
Yes, we do.
Or you can reach out via Facebook or Instagram messaging, and I will get back to you.
Aw. I probably won't, though.
Yeah.
through those platforms.
Yeah, I'm a social media person, not Adam. So.
It's not that I'm not social.
I should have let the silence for the pin to drop, but
Right.
I couldn't resist the laugh. What was that meme I showed you the other day that said introverts always marry an extrovert because someone has to tell them they got the wrong salad
Right.
dressing?
Right. I'm not going to tell them.
I know. All right.
So this one, we're doing the one with 5 steaks and an eggplant.
Ooh. What's our IMDb plot?
Oh my gosh, you want me to tell you that too? Okay. Well, the gang are divided by income issues. Monica, Ross, and Chandler make more money, while Rachel, Phoebe, and Joey don't. Chandler also uses a case of mistaken identity to his advantage. Kinda?
He doesn't pretend to be bad. I'm not sure how I feel about that ruse, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
So.
we'll get there.
All right. Our episode director this week is Ellen Gittleson.
Gittleson?
Yes, so a new director. We haven't had her before.
Yes.
This is her one and only Friends episode.
Well, hello, Ellen. Thanks for stopping by.
That's right. She also directed some old school TV shows, Newhart,
Oh.
Facts of Life, The Cosby Show,
Oh.
and A Different World, Roseanne, and Major Dad.
Major Dad.
You remember Major Dad? I don't think we watched it, but I knew of it.
Yeah, I was aware of it.
Yeah.
That's got that guy in it.
Our episode writer this week is Chris Brown.
Okay.
He wrote a total of 3 episodes, one for each of the first 3 seasons.
Oh.
And then wrote some episodes for What's New, Scooby-Doo?
Ooh, nice. I like Scooby-Doo.
So when was our original air date?
Our original air date was October 19th, 1995. So the number 2 movie that week was Now and Then, starring Christina Ricci and Demi Moore.
Right.
I have no knowledge of this movie.
Yeah, you do. Remember, it's the gang of girls.
I saw it. You think I saw it?
I think you did. It's a bunch of girls that are older, and one of them's having a baby, and they start reminiscing about when they were kids. And Christina Ricci plays the younger version of Demi Moore.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't ring any bells at all for me. I'm bellless. The number one movie was Get Shorty, though.
Oh, yeah.
I remember Get Shorty.
Yes, that one was good. Sequel, not so good.
No. And in other news that week, the space shuttle STS-73 Columbia 18 launched into orbit.
Oh, very interesting. All right. Are you ready for some trivia?
I am ready.
All right. So Ross originally says everyone owes $28 after dinner. Right?
Okay.
Which would mean the entire bill, including tip, would be $168.
Right.
Which for 6 people ain't that
bad. No, that's not.
Even in 1994. So.
Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad.
No. The name of the fancy restaurant is not spoken in the episode, but the menus clearly say philosophie, right?
Oh, yes.
Which is a play on the word philosophy.
Oh. I thought there was some sex term in there I was missing.
No. Nothing clever like that. According to the script, Matt LeBlanc was supposed to grab the phone in the tag and say, "Bob here," when Jade called. But when he jumped for the phone, he literally missed and fell. And they liked the cut so much they kept it in because it was funnier than him answering the phone.
This isn't the time that he fell and hurt his arm.
No.
That's later.
Because
his arm is in a thing the next time.
Right. That's the one where no one's ready.
Right. Yes.
The bottle episode.
Are we doing a bottle episode?
And then when Jade calls, she mentions that her legs are on the latest James Bond poster. Mm-hmm. This episode aired in 1995, which means the Bond poster would have been GoldenEye.
Yes.
And there are no female legs.
Oh, I looked that up too. I was going to drop that tidbit later, but you beat me to it.
Sorry. I do mention which poster does have legs on it, but we'll talk about it when we get there.
Okay.
All right, and the last trivia is both Rachel and Joey would get higher paying jobs later in this series, with Rachel being the executive of Ralph Lauren and Joey being a part of soap opera Days of Our Lives.
Right.
So they start off as the lowest income friends and then end up being the highest income friends.
Right, and Phoebe is a masseuse / drug dealer. I don't think... They never discussed the drug dealing, but I'm pretty sure she's...
Well, we talked about it last time because we were like, how in the hell does she have this apartment by herself as a part-time masseur?
Right.
And then we realized that her grandma probably had rent control too.
Right.
And therefore, she has that apartment for very cheap. So.
Or she's a drug dealer.
All right. So what are your episode reactions for this week?
Alrighty, Roo. Well, this one's a thinker.
Okay.
Like, this is one of those ones where I'm like I was like, oh, this is going to be a fun one. But then I was like, I don't know. I get a little uncomfortable with the fighting among our group, you know? I mean, the money thing is a dilemma we've been on both sides of.
Correct.
You know, and it's always awkward.
Yeah.
And Chandler plays this strange little weird game with Jade, but then he gets his comeuppance for it right away. I don't know. It's one of those that, like you said before, I enjoyed it. I always just enjoyed it in passing. Paying attention to it a little more closely, I was kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
When you're doing this rewatch to take notes and talk about every single scene, and you're like, wow.
Right.
A lot of things went over my head.
Well, it's not over your head.
No,
it's just, they just fly by without you paying much attention.
You're just laughing at the jokes.
So I mean, I like it the episode, but it's just it's a weird one.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I like the episode, but I also don't like the uncomfortableness among the gang. I am not a fan of Chandler's ruse. I think it's out of character for him. Yeah. And how I said that I feel like Friends is not sitcom-y. Mm-hmm. This one is more sitcom-y than anything else. And they even mention Mr. Roper from the most sitcom there is. Right. So this seems like more of a sitcom situation. Right. Which typically our friends aren't going through those types of things.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
That's good.
Thanks.
Good. So what's your favorite line, Joe?
My favorite line, which we say all the time, is Joey, like, we can afford to go here or there. What's yours?
I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
I picked a line that it's Chandler when they're doing the little ticket skit. And he goes, by the way, this didn't seem so dorky out in the hall. I feel like a lot of the things I do, I'm like, oh, this is going to be funny. Then I'm like, oh
yeah.
I kind of feel dorky doing it. Like the podcast.
Oh, no. You don't feel dorky.
No.
Well, I enjoy it, so. Favorite moments, I love when Monica and the gang stomp out after they say that the other three say they're not going to the concert. And she goes, well, we're going to go. And then she stomps out and then immediately comes back and says, it's not for 6 hours. We'll go then.
Yeah. That is fun. You actually stole my favorite moment this time. Usually
really?
I steal yours.
Oh, yeah.
This week you stole mine. But I went with a very close second.
Yeah.
Chandler's dismay at being
Yeah. Yeah. When Jay goes,
He's got Ross there staring at him.
It probably wouldn't have been so tragic if Ross hadn't been there. But now is he not only but his best friend knows he's
Right.
All right. Favorite outfit. There was not a lot of great selection this week.
No.
A lot of jeans and t-shirts. I like the comic book shirt that Phoebe wore. I like the lace shirt that Monica wore to the concert, but not those pants.
Right.
But I really liked, and I went through and I wrote things down while I was taking my notes, and I just kept going back to Chandler's green flannel jacket. I think it's really cute and cool. I like it.
Very nice. Well, again, I kind of had trouble this week, too. Everything was kind of meh.
Yeah.
Like we've said before, first couple seasons.
Yeah, the clothes aren't that great.
They really get way better later, I feel like. But when in doubt, overalls for me. And that this week, it's Monica. Monica's wearing the overalls this week.
Yeah, she has that little sweater tied around her waist.
Right.
It's cute. All right, themes we explored this week, or this episode, sorry. Theme 1. Money. Some make more, others make less.
Yeah, that's just how it happens.
That's right.
Theme 2, birthday hooplas.
Theme 3, tricking sad women into having sex. Not a fan of this theme.
Poor Jade.
I know. And she's so pretty. It's like, come on, lady.
And theme 4, getting fired without an investigation. Joe made me say that.
I do have a problem with how Monica is fired because they didn't even ask her side of the story. They just fired her.
Right.
And I know that most states are at will, but, you know, anybody who knows anything about employees knows that you should probably ask them what their side of the story is.
Exactly. I'll go into a little bit what I think of that once we get there in the plot line.
All right, we're going to take our first break before we break down the episode.
But wait, there's more. Hey, Chandler, what is in that envelope?
By the way, this didn't seem so dorky out in the hall.
Come on.
Why, it's 6 tickets to Hootie and the Blowfish. The Blowfish.
Do I have to go?
Adam, stay in character. Ross's next line is, could you be any less enthused?
Probably, but not by much.
Adam!
We're back.
All right, we're back. We start with the cold open. We're at Chandler and Joey's apartment. It is Chandler and Ross. On the boob tube are Spanish little people wrestling. And then Ross immediately laments about how much he misses Julie.
Aww.
And Chandler says, Spanish midgets wrestling, Julie. Okay, yeah, I see how you got there.
I don't, but...
Right. The phone rings, and then it rings again. And Ross, like Alexander Graham Bell, invented the phone. Why are you not answering it? But Chandler explains that he's supporting the inventor of the answering machine, who was Joseph Zimmerman in Milwaukee. who had an idea for an invention after he spoke with an air conditioning and heating specialist repair guy who told him he could not leave the shop because he had no secretary to take his phone calls.
He was like, I see a need for something.
That's right.
I need a machine man.
I thought that was funny.
I wonder if there's a statue next to Fonzie in Milwaukee of, what's his name? Joseph Zimmerman. Yeah, they have the little Fonzie statue there. Maybe they have a little Joseph Zimmerman, too.
Right. Just like they have the Captain Kirk in Iowa, the statue. Yeah.
We saw the Kirk one.
We did. We have pictures of it. Anyway.
We're nerds.
Yes, we are. Anyway, Chandler invents screening phone calls. And he says if he's too available, people will think he doesn't have a life. And then Rodrigo gets pinned, who never gets pinned.
I like that he knows Rodrigo and his stats. Remember when people would call you on the phone and you would have to answer and talk to them?
Right. Ugh. Yeah. Unless you were just not answering your phone at all,
Right.
You had no idea who was calling. So the machine picks up. It's Joey's voice on the answering machine. And then Jade starts leaving a message for Bob. Right. And how it's been 3 years and she's not sure if he still has this number.
He does not.
And Jade is hoping for a hookup. She actually says, I was hoping we could hook up.
Right.
She barely had the nerve to call, so you know what she did?
What?
She got a little drunk and naked.
All right.
So Chandler immediately picks up the phone and pretends to be Bob by lowering his voice because it's internationally known that all Bobs have deep voices.
Yes, they do. I've never called anybody drunk and or naked. So the next time you're at work, I'm going to give it a whirl.
Well, maybe you never called me drunk, but I can't say that you haven't called me naked.
Joe, you're oversharing. All right, so we go from there to Joey and Chandler's pad, and Chandler and Ross are there. And it's just picking up right where we left off.
Yep.
Chandler is pretending to be Bob while prancing around the apartment as Jade says she's up to the usual, teaching aerobics, partying way too much, and in case you were wondering, those are my legs on the new James Bond poster. He stops prancing around. Shit just got real. That's where I say the GoldenEye thing, but...
Oh, yeah.
So
there are no legs on GoldenEye poster, which we talked about.
Right.
But there are legs on For Your Eyes Only. But that came out in 1981, and that would probably make Jade about 12.
No. Let's not do that.
Yeah, no.
No. Chandler tells Jade to hang on a second, tells Ross, I love her, and Ross agrees with, I know.
Hey, you can't take Monica's line.
He didn't go, I know!
That would have been hilarious.
That would have. I don't think they were all the way into that yet.
Right.
Though.
They don't have their actual trademark lines until later.
Yeah. I mean, she just did it the first time, like a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
So Jade asks if they'll meet, and Chandler says, yeah, tomorrow at Central Perk in the Village. But the whole time Ross is silently protesting at this seemingly absurd plan. And Chandler thinks that having a phone has finally paid off.
And it's so weird to think of a time where you could not contact people within seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, we live that time, but it's still really weird.
Right. Yeah. Ross commends Chandler's Bob impression, but points out the obvious that when Jade sees him tomorrow, she'll realize that, hey, he's not Bob.
And there was a cut line on the DVD.
Yes.
Tattoo! You see, Mrs. Jade's fantasy is to rekindle the love she had with Bob. And then Ross says his fantasy is that Chandler talk like a normal person. I say that to the girl kids sometimes.
And the funny thing is, Ross sits down on the floor to open beers at the table, so he looks real short. That's why he does the tattoo thing.
Oh, I never even thought of that.
Yeah, that's why he does the tattoo thing.
And those of you that don't know who Tattoo is, it was a character from a TV show called Fantasy Island.
Yes.
And Mr. Rourke, played by Ricardo Montalban.
Montalban.
Sorry. Oh my God. Forget it. You guys get the picture.
I ruined it. Anyway, so moving on. Chandler is more devious than Ross thinks, though, because he hopes that when Bob is a no-show, Jade will seek comfort in the arms of the wry stranger at the next table. Ross OMGs that Chandler is pure evil.
It is a very douche move. But I also have to give him props because it's pretty clever to think of in the seconds that he was on the phone with her.
Yes. He was like, how can I do this?
Right. I'm not Bob, but how can I get her?
Right. So Chandler weighs pure evil against horny and alone. And he reckons, I've done horny and alone. I might as well try pure evil. That's how most people end up, is pure evil.
Yeah, right? All right, so then we cut to Monica and Rachel's apartment. 5 friends are there, no Monica.
No man.
Ross is on the phone with Julie, and he tells the gang to say hi to Julie in New Mexico. Everyone obliges, and Rachel manages to squeeze in a whiny baby talk. Hey, Julie. After the sexy talk didn't work last week. But I do like how Joey elbows her. Like, come on.
I like how they're like, we have too much planned for the friends dynamic. We need Julie out of the way for this episode.
Yes, exactly. So Chandler leans forward and tells the 3 in the living room that they owe him $62 each for Ross's birthday.
Which,
yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Phoebe asks if there's a chance he is rounding up from, say, $20. And Chandler says it covers the gift, the concert, and the cake. And then Joey, of all people, asks if they really need a cake.
I mean, $62 a piece seems high for 5 people.
Right.
So, I mean, get a Duncan Hines cake.
Yeah.
Or brownies. No. Make chocolate chip cookies. Sorry, what were we talking about?
Oh my God, you were obsessed with cookies. I think we should work that into every episode.
Well,
so
you promised the 1 week you were going to make me cookies, and then you never did.
I never did. But for every birthday, instead of cake, Adam likes a giant chocolate chip cookie.
You make badass cookies. I don't know what to tell you.
All right. Anyhow, moving on. So Chandler laments with them and says he knows it's a little steep, and Rachel does a modified version of her shoop, 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 and does a whoosh.
Yeah, whoosh.
And Chandler points out, it's Ross. Like, okay, since it's Ross, but if it were Monica, fuck no.
Fuck no. Not for Monica. Not for Phoebe.
So they reluctantly agree that, yeah, it's for Ross. And Chandler tells them he'll see them later and he's got to go do a thing.
I never thought of this before, but on other birthdays, they would probably complain, but like Rachel wouldn't have to chip in for Rachel's birthday.
Right.
So they probably didn't complain when it was their birthdays, but now that it's all 3 of the poor friends lined up, they feel like they can form an alliance. But now that it's someone else's birthday.
So we always say that we have a birthday gauntlet.
Yes.
Because it starts with Father's Day.
Well, you don't have to go through everybody. But
it's like 7 birthdays in a row.
Like within a 2-week period.
Yes. And so we're just like, whatever we want to do that week, we can't because of the birthday gauntlet.
Right. There's too many birthdays. There's too much stuff during those 2 weeks, so we can't afford anything else.
So Ross quickly hangs up with Julie and asks if he's going through with it. And he goes, I think I might just.
I might just.
And Ross trails after him and they leave. So Rachel asks the gang what they're doing for dinner tonight. And Joey says he has to stay home and eat dust bunnies so he can afford Ross's present. I would also like to point out that Joey went out and bought a pretzel, brought it home, and put his own mustard on it.
Yeah.
Stop buying pretzels.
Or Monica made him a pretzel. Aww. And he's using her mustard and then complaining.
And that he has to pay for Ross's present. So Phoebe says she cannot believe how much this is going to cost. And Rach asks the question that is the entire A-plot of this episode. Do you ever get the impression that they don't realize that Ross, Chan, and Mon make more money than they do?
Yeah.
They all enthusiastically agree. And Joey says, it's like they're always saying, let's go here, let's go there. Like we can afford to go here and there. That's my favorite. Yeah. Phoebe agrees and points out that they always have to go somewhere nice.
Which is a problem.
Yeah, it is. And it's not like they can say anything about it because it's a birthday thing for Ross.
For Ross.
For Ross. So Monica walks in and says, oh my God. And they greet her. And she proceeds to tell them that she's at work on an ordinary day. Chop, chop, chop. Saute, saute, saute. And Leon, the manager, calls her into his office. And since they fired the head lunch chef, guess who got the job? And Joey immediately chimes in.
If it's not you, this is a horrible story.
I love Rachel's look at him. Like, why would she? But it is her, and they made her in charge of purchasing, thank you very much. And the gang is excited. Mm-hmm. And Monica burst that bubble by saying that she ran into Ross and Chan downstairs and suggested that they go out to celebrate. You know, someplace nice.
Oh.
The gang is not as excited now, and
nope.
Joey asks how much he thinks he could get for a kidney.
They do get gussied up and go out a lot.
Yeah, they do.
They're always like, let's go get dressed and go someplace for drinks. Mm-hmm. I'd be like, nah, let's stay home and watch Friends.
That's right. I have some wine coolers. I don't have any wine coolers.
So then we're at Central Perk, and it's Chandler and Ross. We open on a despondent Jade, Brittany Powell.
And she was Summer Holloway on the soap opera General Hospital. Mm-hmm. Just thought you might want to know.
Oh, that helps.
Mm-hmm.
She's sitting alone at a table. So Ross is telling Chandler he cannot do this. But Chandler is sure he cannot get a woman like Jade using conventional methods. Ross speculates that Bob is who Jade is supposed to be with, and Chandler may be toying with two people's chances at happiness. So, they're having this conversation. I was distracted a little bit by the pamphlet on their table that said Reverend Horton Heat.
It was bright red.
Right. Yeah. I was like, those words don't make any sense together. So I Googled it.
Yeah.
And he's a psychobilly rockabilly musician.
Ooh.
And it's not bad.
Yeah, we listened to it. It wasn't.
I kind of liked him. I liked the song Marijuana.
Of course you would.
Chandler argues.
We don't know Bob. We know me. We like me. Please let me be happy.
Ross tells him to go over there and tell that woman the truth.
And this is the jacket that I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Joe, thoughts on the plan?
My major in college was communications after nursing, and that's another story for another time. But anyhow, I am a huge, firm believer that communication is a foundation for every relationship, and honesty and vulnerability is so important. And what relationship would succeed when you start off with a lie?
Right.
It's doomed from the get.
Right. Yeah, I think this might be why I have trouble with rom-coms in general.
Yeah.
Because they're all have a little bit of lying or a situation that's misunderstood. And I'm not comfortable with lying and subterfuge. And on the other hand, Jade has pretty eyes and nice stems. So
I see how you are. If the girl's good looking enough, you do the subterfuge.
Well, I don't know. I've never had to.
Right.
Anyway, Chandler goes over and says he has something to confess, but he switches it up to, whoever stood you up is a jerk. And Jade is like, how'd you know? And Chandler says, well, I just have a weird sense, but that's just how I am. Weird and sensitive. And then he offers her a tissue and tells her to keep the pack because he's all cried out today.
I hate that line.
And this is why nobody trusts nice guys anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm all cried out is one weird fucking pickup line.
It is. I'd be like, what is wrong with you? Why'd you cry? Not that it's wrong to cry.
No.
It's just like, why would you tell a stranger that I'm all cried out today?
I've been crying my eyes out today. This is my third pack of tissues.
But you can have it because your life sucks worse than mine.
I have 25 more packs at home. He glances at Ross, who gives him a disapproving look. And I'm siding with Ross. That makes me very upset.
Aww. I just think it's rude to do that to Jade.
Yeah.
Anyway, we already know how we feel.
Yeah.
So we're at Philosophie. The five friends are there minus Chandler. Ross is toasting to Monica. He starts off with, here's to my sister, the newly appointed head lunch chef. Monica interrupts, who is also in charge of purchasing. So he adds that. And then she interrupts again to add that she has her own little desk when Roland is not there. So he adds that.
And I'd have been like, the toast is over at this point.
And she tries to finish the toast, but Monica shares that she got a new beeper. And the other three are so fascinated by the beeper, which we have discussed before. It's weird. Right. But anyhow, here's to Monica.
I got an iPhone 1.
So then the snootiest waiter I've ever seen comes over and says he'll be waiting on the edge of his seat until they're ready to order.
I'm not part of this group of friends, but I think I'd either be like, we either need to go ask for another waiter
Right.
or go somewhere else
Right.
because I can't fucking deal with this guy the whole time.
But the three poorer friends lament about the prices. They are pretty cha-ching.
Yeah.
And apparently famous chickens.
I'm sure it's a famous watering can.
So Chandler comes in, kisses Mom, and tells Ross he's not sorry he's late because how incredible was his afternoon with Jade.
How incredible was it?
Well, I'll tell you. Well, Ross will. Anyhow, because she left a message on his machine for Chandler, and he's confused about why. And Chandler says his number is Bob's. So to keep up the web of lies, Ross, I had to tell him that my number was your number. But then he asks when he should do when Mr. Roper calls. All right, for all you youngins out there, Mr. Roper, he's referring to a character in the sitcom The Ropers, which ran for 2 seasons from 1979 and was a spin-off of the sitcom Three's Company, mentioned later in the series. Both are remakes of UK sitcoms, George and Mildred, and Man About the House, respectively, which I wanted to share since we do have a following in the UK.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, hello.
Anyhow.
Watcha.
Tickety-boo. Anyhow, Mr. Snooty Waiter Man returns, takes their orders. Chan, Mon, and Ross order large meals. Mm-hmm. And just in case you wanted to know, the carpaccio that Monica orders is a dish of meat or fish, thinly sliced or pounded thin, served raw, and is typically an appetizer. It was invented in Italy, became popularized in the 20th century, and is now the charcuterie board.
Oh. Nice.
So Joey gets the Thai chicken pizza, but removing the nuts and leeks do not make the price any less.
Rachel might have eaten those.
I know, right? And Rachel gets a side salad next to her water. And Phoebe gets a cup of cucumber soup, which is served cold. Yum.
Yummy, yum, yum.
Chandler asks for the Cajun catfish and a verse of Killing Me Softly. The waiter is not amused, and Chandler asks if he's going to sneeze on his fish.
Oh, sneeze on my fish and not get a tip, Mr. Grumpy Waiter.
Right? I don't even want to think about what people do to food in restaurants to annoying customers. Like whenever we go out or whenever there's an error, I'm the nicest I can possibly be because they can do shit to my food.
Right. You don't want to sneeze muffin.
So if the hamburger's wrong, I go in and I apologize and am nice because I don't want them to stick it down their pants.
Right.
So then there's a time jump, and there is a cut line where all 6 friends are like pushed back from the table, and Chandler goes, "Whoa, does anyone else feel like they gave birth to an alien?" And they start out saying, yeah, but then they're all like, no.
No.
So you can see that the 3 less affluent friends are still hungry and eating crunchy breadsticks.
Right. But the basket of breadsticks, still full.
Yeah. And the other 3 have desserts and coffee in front of them. So they're indulging.
Yes.
Ross calculates the bill and splits it by 6. So that makes it $28 a piece. Again, $168, which still isn't bad for 6 people.
No.
I mean, the 4 of us can't go out to eat for less than $100 now.
Right. But if they would have ordered real food, it probably would have been
exactly.
$300.
Yeah. So that's what I said, because technically it's more like 3 people, which would have been $56 each. It's still pretty good for a fancy dinner.
Right.
But anyway, Rachel says, everyone? And Ross goes, oh yeah, Mom shouldn't have to pay. It's her special night. So then it bumps up to $33.50 a piece. And the dam breaks. Phoebe says, no way, nuh-uh, not gonna happen. Chandler says, whoa.
Prom night flashback.
Phoebe says she's glad Mom got promoted, but cold cucumber mush for 30-some bucks? No. And Rachel had that small salad, and Joey with his teeny pizza. I like how she said teeny pizza.
Yeah.
So Ross shushes Phoebe, which I did not appreciate. He was like, shh, shh, shh. But he says everyone can just pay for what they had. It's not a big deal. And Phoebe quips,
not for you. I would have said separate checks from the get-go.
Yeah.
You know, whenever you're worried about money, that's the first thing you say to the waiter. Separate checks.
Right. And Ross could have paid for his sister.
Right.
So they look away. Rach says, look, guys, let's not get into this right now. She doesn't want to make anyone uncomfortable. But Ross says, wait. And Chandler says, yeah, you can tell us. It's fine. We'll be fine.
We're already uncomfortable.
Right. You shushed me. That would make me uncomfortable. So Rachel is chomping on her breadstick like Tom Hanks is eating that tiny little piece of corn in the movie Big, which is a must-see. Mm-hmm. And Joey starts the uncomfortable conversation. And he goes, okay, we three feel like that sometimes you guys... don't get that, and he's shifting uncomfortably in his seat.
We don't make as much money as you do.
Mon goes, okay. Ross says, I hear you. And Chan says, we can talk about that. Phoebe says, okay, let's. And Ross tries to be empathetic, but comes off as even more snooty because he doesn't think money is an issue. And Rach says, because you have it. Touche.
That's a good point.
Chandler asks why they haven't talked about it before. And Joey volunteers that it's always something, like Monica's new job and the whole Ross's birthday hoopla.
Ooh, hoopla.
So Ross says he doesn't want his birthday to be any source of any... Wait, did you say there's a hoopla?
Oh, there's going to be hoopla? Yay! Not anymore, dickhead.
So Rach explains that there's the thing, and then there's the stuff after the thing, and
it's too much.
But Mon offers that they can forget the thing and just do the gift. And Ross is like a 6-year-old and says, the thing isn't the gift? And Chan says, no, the thing is we were going to go see Hootie and the Blowfish.
Hootie and I don't need to see that concert. No offense to Blowfish fans. They're perfectly bland and inoffensive.
He'll catch them on the radio.
Yeah, he will.
And Ross assures him that he just wants them all to be together, not at the concert.
For now.
And they all thank him, and it gets uncomfortable. And Chandler, when he's uncomfortable, he has to lighten the mood. So he ends with, the Ebola virus. That's gotta suck, huh?
Monica and Rachel's house, her apartment now, and the full sextet are there. Mm-hmm. So we open on the poor three seated and watching as the affluent friends are standing, and Monica's holding a bag. Chandler says, gee, Monica, what's in that bag? And Monica says, I don't know, Chandler. Let's take a look. And Phoebe's like,
oh, it's like a skit.
And Monica announces dinner for 6. 5 steaks and an eggplant for Phoebe. Ross then stiffly says that there's more. Chandler, what's in the envelope? And Chandler feels it necessary to explain that the whole thing didn't seem so dorky in the hall. And that's what happens when you get stuck with Geller's calling the shots, I guess.
That's right. They did invent the routine.
Right. That's all I could imagine is them out in the hall. We'll do this and this and this. And Chandler's like, oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Wait a minute. The envelope contains 6 tickets to Hootie and the Blowfish. Silence follows.
The Blowfish.
Too soon, am I right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, hold off till the next concert. Go see Toad the Wet Sprocket or Jen Blossoms. They should be coming through any day. But Monica doubles down on the insult to injury by stating, don't worry, it's on us. It's our treat. Yikes. It sounds so dickish.
It does. I know what they're doing.
But
it does. The way the skit makes it sound really dickish, I think.
Right. It seems like it's the next day.
Right.
And if it was 2 weeks later or something, I think they could have got away with it.
Right.
But anyway, Phoebe says thanks. And Ross, again pushing the issue, asks if they could be less enthused.
Stole Chandler's line.
Yeah. Thank us for our generosity. Joey explains that they are being nice. It just feels like, charity. Charity? We're just trying to fucking do a nice thing for you, poor motherfuckers. Yeah, but your nice thing makes us feel this big. And Rachel's holding up her fingers and not very far apart. So that's pretty small. But then Phoebe comes over and shrinks it down even further. And I feel like maybe that's too much.
I always wondered, would you have gone? I mean, if it were a band that you wanted to see, because obviously you don't like Hootie.
Right.
Like if Chandler said he had 6 tickets to see Nine Inch Nails.
Yes.
I mean, it's not like they did it all the time, so I think it would have been like, cool, you guys, thanks. But maybe it's because all our friends didn't have money either. I don't know. But I think I would have been like, oh, that was nice of you because you want us to go and you want us all to be there.
I might have said something, but I would have gone. Yeah. Because, again, what are you going to make them do? Return the tickets?
Right.
Or they just go without them. They just made them waste their money.
Right. But the fact that they were like, we want you guys to be there, so we bought tickets for you.
Yes, I know. I'm picking on everybody because that's what I do. Yes, I think I would have been like, we'll go. Right. But
don't
we don't want you to pay for us all the time. That's not why we have the conversation.
Right.
But Ross is like, wait, we're damned if we do and we're damned if we don't. And Chandler's like, maybe if you feel like shit, that's on you. And Joey replies, now you're telling us how we feel? All right, this fighting's making me feel forlorn.
Aww.
But Rachel says they never should have brought it up, and Phoebe says she's skipping the concert because she's not in a very hooty place. And the other 2 indigent friends agree.
Yeah.
Phoebe says, then you'll have space for your tiaras and stuff. And Chandler's like, why'd you look at me while saying that? Still funny. That's pretty funny.
I do love that line.
So Monica finally gives in and says, fine, we won't go either. And they want to argue with that, too. And they're like, no, go. You don't have to do everything together. So they storm out. And then your favorite moment, Monica comes back in because the concert's not for another 6 hours.
So they'll go then.
Yeah.
So I do like this one. They're at Chandler and Joey's apartment. It's Chandler and Ross. So Ross walks in and yells, Chandler.
Yeah.
And Chan pops out from behind the door and says, yeah, and scares Ross. I think that's really cute. He asks if he's ready, and he says, sure, let me grab my jacket and tell you that I had sex today. And Ross says,
what? You had sex today?
Wow, it sounds even cooler when someone else says it. Chandler says he was awesome. She was biting her lip to stop from screaming. Ross goes, wow, Chan took that as a good sign.
High five.
The phone rings, and for some reason it bothers Ross that he's not answering it again. And Chandler shares that he had sex today, and he doesn't ever have to answer the phone again.
Until tomorrow.
Right. Okay, the jacket he puts on, I hate that jacket.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Even though it's over a real vest, no, it's an ugly jacket.
I know, but he looks like he's going to a Hootie and the Blowfish concert.
Anyhow, the machine picks up, and it's Jade. She's leaving Bob another message.
Aww.
And she tells him she was hurt he stood her up, and she met another guy instead.
Aww.
So Chandler races, picks up the phone, and says, Bob here. So you met someone. And she says, yes. And she had sex with him 2 hours ago. So Chandler does this little jump up and down. And then why would Bob ask this? But he asks, so how was he?
Do not ask the question if you're not prepared for either answer.
That's right. If you don't want to know, you say this to me all the time. Don't ask the kids anything if you're not prepared for the most outrageous answer possible.
Right.
Because you're just setting yourself up. But anyhow, Jade drops the bomb that he was only Jade confesses that he was nothing like him, meaning Bob.
Right.
She says she had to bite her lip to keep her from screaming out his name. What? If the sex was why would you scream out someone else's name?
For help? I don't know. Well, I take this whole thing, like, if she thinks she's talking to somebody else who she still kind of wants to get with,
right?
Why would she tell him that she enjoyed herself?
Right.
Like, that wouldn't make any sense anyway.
Right.
So I feel like he's in one of those situations where just asking the question, she's never going to be honest, given the confines of the conversation.
Right. So Chandler is devastated, but says it makes him, as Bob, feel so good. She makes it worse by saying it was awkward and bumpy. And Ross says, what the hell?
Bumpy? What the fuck, man?
So Chandler tries to save face and says, well, maybe he had some new kind of cool style that you have to get used to. And she drops the A-bomb and says, there was no time to get used to it, if you know what I mean.
Andy had a third nipple and referred to his thingy as bing-a-ling.
Oh, my God.
Ross just leaves.
I'm going now.
So now we're at the Blowfish concert, and it's Mon and Chandler and Ross because the other three stayed at home. So there's 3 empty seats next to them. They could have spread out, but they did not. So the concert is being held in what looks like the auditorium of my elementary school.
Yeah.
And they're staring at the empty seats, and they decide they're not going to be able to enjoy the concert without the other 3 amigos.
Aww.
So they decide to leave because they have so much money they can afford to buy 6 concert tickets and never use them. Then that one Hootie song starts. No comic, no opening band, no introduction.
Right.
They could have at least said the Rembrandts were opening and play I'll Be There For You.
Well, again, the whole birthday hoopla was $62, so the concert tickets were probably like $20.
Right. But as the music starts, the trio decides to stay for at least one song. It'd be rude to the Blowfish to leave now. And the others are probably having a great time. And Phoebe is probably showing them the alley where she used to sleep or something else that poor people do. You know?
Did you notice the guys behind them dancing when the music starts?
I did.
They are not good.
I'm going to have to go with they're dancing as well as 2 white guys listening to I Go Blind are expected to dance.
Okay.
And yes, I had to look up the name of the song for that joke. I like that before they cut, you can see Stevie standing by himself across the aisle with no date, no friends. This dude is a red flag like his dad. Anyway, we quickly cut to Monica and Rachel's place and the destitute friends. And Joey is standing in front of Rachel and Phoebe asking them one more time. And it looks like they're playing charades, but no. These are poor people. They can't play charades. They're guessing Joey's fingers. Phoebe guesses 1, but the answer is 2. So then we go back to the concert. It's finishing up on the same song, I believe. They just played the one song. Everyone is holding up lighters instead of their cell phones, which is a weird fire hazard. Hold up your cell phones, idiots.
Oh, that was before cell phones.
Oh. Well, the Geller kids think the concert was great. Just excellent. But Chandler can't believe the other friends missed it. And for a second, Ross doesn't know who the fuck he's talking about.
Oh, my God.
And that's when the little kid from the Great Outdoors shows up. And this is Chris Young playing little Stephen Fishman. And he asks Monica Geller if she is Monica Geller because she looks like the Monica Geller that used to babysit him. And if I had a babysitter that looked like Monica, I probably would have remembered too.
Yeah.
He says he's a lawyer now.
So, math-wise, how the hell is this kid a lawyer?
I do not know.
Because Monica is only 26.
Right.
And she says, you can't be a lawyer, you're 8.
Right.
Which means she probably babysitting when he was 8.
Right.
So she would have to start babysitting when she was 10? Unless he's a Doogie Howser lawyer?
Yeah, I don't know. Sitcom rules.
Okay.
Don't get bogged down in the details. Just go with the ride. Stevie says that he has to get backstage because while using his time turner to become a lawyer, he also got tight with Darius Rucker in the band. If the name Darius Rucker means nothing to you, Google Key and Peele, Hootie and the Blowfish, and have a fun 3 minutes.
That is funny.
But upon hearing that this stranger knows the band, Ross and Chandler immediately introduce themselves. Ross.
Chandler.
And Steve asks if they want to come meet the band and invites the wealthy elite along while asking Monica if she's one of the babysitters that fooled around with his dad.
Ew.
I assume because he thinks he's killed all the ones that already did.
Oh.
But he isn't quite sure.
You mean Stevie killed all the ones that fooled with his dad?
Right.
Oh my God.
Stevie killed his dad and then killed all the babysitters that fooled around with him.
Yeah, you've been watching too much Criminal Minds.
I may have been watching too many crime shows lately. I'll try and switch it up for
Okay.
that. I'll watch some Pixar and stuff.
Good. All right, so then we're landing Central Perk. All 6 friends are there.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 affluent friends walk in together.
Yeah.
Since they just came from the concert backstage party.
Yeah, I think the subtext is they got home really late, high on goofballs. I don't know.
So Rachel tells Ross happy birthday. So Ross asks how their night was, and they say it sucked too. And Monica says she ran into little Stevie Fisher. And she asks Rach if she remembers him. And Rachel asks, how's his dad?
Oh.
So they lament about how much they miss them. And Joey says the whole thing was stupid.
One of the dancing duo from behind them, that you mentioned.
At the concert?
At the concert, one of the white guys dancing. Is sitting behind them in the coffee shop right now. It's a small world.
So Phoebe says that they really have to not let things like money get in the way. And then before she finishes, says, "Is that a hickey?" So Mon says she fell down.
Right.
And Rach says, "On someone's lips?" And she goes, "Where did you get the hickey?"
Vacuum-related incident. With Monica, they might buy it.
Absolutely. So Mon says a party. And they go, "What party?" And Ross says, "Not really a party, more of a gathering of people with food and music and the band."
And the band?
So Joey turns to Chandler and asks if they party with Hootie and the Blowfish. And Chandler says, "Yeah, apparently Stevie and Hootie are like this. They're tight. And the hickey is the work of a blowfish."
More like a suckfish.
Oh, that has two meanings. So Phoebe is outraged that they were sitting at home guessing Joey's fingers, and they all are out partying and having fun, and, "Hey, blowfish, suck my neck." So Ross kind of points out the obvious that they could have been there.
Yeah.
And Rachel says, "What, with the Poor Friends Outreach Program?"
Yes, they already bought the tickets. You were wasting their money by not going. It's a good thing they didn't. Stevie would have definitely killed Rachel.
Stop it! Nobody cares about your weird serial killer subplot.
Ow.
At the tense moment, Monica gets beeped and says it's work, and Ross hands her the coffee house phone, as you do.
Mm-hmm. I missed the free coffee house phones,
Yeah.
like I said before. Oh, this is before cell phones.
Yes.
That's why they're holding lighters.
Yeah.
And people used to smoke. Oh.
Lots of people smoked. It was weird. So Chandler tries to smooth it over by pointing out again that they make more money than them and they work really hard for it.
Mm-hmm.
And Joey says, "Wait, we don't work hard? Do you, Joe?"
Yeah, okay.
So back to Monica, who's got Paige. Chandler continues that they may want to do stuff that costs a little more money. And Joey says, "So we hold you back?" "Yes."
No!
The gang argues in the background. Monica's trying to hear, and she's crying to Leon that it was a gift from the meat vendor and it wasn't a kickback. She'll replace them and they can forget the whole thing. What corporate policy? Okay, she got fired.
Okay, so two things.
Yeah.
A, she had the new job for like a day.
Right.
You might want to train the person before you fire them.
Right.
And 3, just getting fired over the phone seems rude.
Oh, yeah. Could have waited until she came into work.
Yeah.
And again, there was no investigation, no her side of the story. Anyway.
Again, it's sitcom rules. I know
Right.
that they don't want to have build the manager's office and have a scene with the
Right.
manager. They just want to get her fired.
Right.
So again, within the sitcom context, I get it.
Right. Yeah.
It's just like, that's fucking rude.
So everyone comes over to comfort Monica, and the waitress drops off her check for $4.12.
Mm-hmm.
And Joey offers to get it, but then turns to Chandler and asks, "Do you have $5?" And I love Chandler's
Yeah, I
face.
do too. That was almost my favorite moment.
Yeah, I do. I like it.
So then the stinger is Joey and Chandler's apartment. Joey apparently napping because we hear the phone ring and the message kick on, but the shot is just on the back of the sofa.
Right.
And Jade's voice says, "Hi, it's me." And Joey pops up. And she says, she's probably out of line. It's been 3 years, yada, yada. Can I just have one night for old time's sake, yada, yada. Steamy, blurry, wild night. Joey dives for the phone, knocking it and himself on the floor. And that's the end of the episode.
Cut and print. All right, we're going to take another short break. We'll be back in a minute. Bob here.
Oh, hi.
So, you met someone, huh?
Yes, yes, I did. In fact, I had sex with him 2 hours ago.
So, how was he?
Eh.
Eh?
Oh, Bob, he was nothing compared to you. I had to bite my lip to keep from screaming your name.
Well, that makes me feel so good.
We are back.
We're back, baby. So,
Ow.
ow.
What'd you learn from this episode?
Eating out with friends is dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Offering to pay is even worse.
Okay.
And I'm disappointed in Chandler. But again, I didn't have to trick people into having sex. I only had to trick you.
Oh. Well done.
Thanks.
So I learned that Monica made out with either Mark Bryan, Dean Felber, or Jim Sunfeld. Jade needs to get over Bob. It's been 3 years. Let it go. And I learned that poor friends hold you back.
Oh, so what are your final thoughts for this episode?
First, I hope those were some super good steaks.
Right?
I wanted the scene when Chandler has to make Jade pancakes after Joey leaves in the morning. And she's like, what is going on?
Oh my God. That would have been terrible. All right. I know it's 1994 prices, but in New York City, I think they got off really easy. Mm-hmm. But then again, if you're not working or working as a cafe waitress and a part-time masseur, then I guess cha-ching.
Right. We've had times where scraping together $5 has been a problem.
But also in those times, like $5 bought us 2 cheeseburgers and large fries.
Right.
So what's our sweater vest tracker?
0.
I know.
I can't drag it out in any cute way. It's just 0.
0. So
Still
we're
0.
5 episodes in, no sweater vests, but 1 fucking ugly jacket.
So IMDb rating for this episode is at 8.1 out of 10 stars with 5,700 ratings.
Wow. Okay. One of the IMDb reviews says it's titled as Greatness by Flash15929. That's their pin code.
Right.
It was posted May of 2006. So they write, great episode of Chandler at his best. Is this the same guy from last week? The rest of the cast as well does a great job. And as a guy, I really liked the guest appearances by Brittany Powell as Jade. I did, however, find some flaws. When the friends, Ross, Monica, and Chandler are at the Hootie and the Blowfish concert, the song I Go Blind starts playing, and at the end of the concert, you hear the ending of the same song, which is what you said.
Yeah.
I also really like the fight between the poor friends and the richer friends, because this also divides people in real life, true enough. You can see how the poor friends, Joey, Rachel, and Phoebe, are obligated to do things that cost too much to fit their budget and still go along with it because they are friends.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah.
Everyone loves Chandler. So what do we got going on next week?
Next week, the one with the baby on the bus.
Oh.
Chandler and Joey babysit after Monica poisons her brother. They take a bus and forget their babysitting. Also, Chrissy Hind replaces Phoebe as a musician for Central Perk. Giovanni Ribisi and Leah Thompson both show up too.
Aw, that's fun. All right, are you ready for some maladjusted content?
Yes.
So this week, you mentioned Key and Peele.
Yes.
Which they have a TV show.
Key and Peele.
Right. And it's really, really funny.
Right.
They do a lot of like Saturday Night Live-ish skits.
Right. It's a comedy skit show that is very funny.
But they are hilarious.
Yes.
If you haven't watched them, I highly recommend them.
Indeed.
And then we watched the movie Luther because you watched the TV show Luther.
Yeah, I cycled through over the past few weeks.
Yeah.
The Luther series with Idris Elba.
So good.
Yeah, we watched the new movie on Netflix.
Yeah, which was so sad. Because I was like, at one point I was like, oh, and Adam goes, don't start crying yet because you're going to need it later. I was like, oh. But that's what we did this week, and it was a holiday weekend, so we're behind on recording because we were tired. All right. Thanks for listening, you guys. If you would like your thoughts or reactions regarding future episodes to be shared with the rest of the class, or if you just want to reach out and say hey.
Come on, we'd like to hear from more of you misfits out there. We want to hear your reviews and thoughts on the episodic program.
Email us at themaladjustedmisfits@gmail.com. Rate us and leave positive comments.
And if you have negative comments, try to phrase them in a positive way.
Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. You can follow the links in the show notes. The pages are called The One Where We Talk About Friends.
Joe, you ready for a cup of coffee?
Always. So, the Ebola virus. That's gotta suck, huh?